I believe the people, many of whom who suffer like in South Sudan with the floods that are happening there, or many of the other regions of the world where climatic, if you will, natural cause events take place. Many of these people are as innocent, or at least candidates, are not necessarily hated by God, and need teaching and need an evangelist, a preacher to reach them with the word. But I want to say that, let's take, for instance, the event like the massacre at Sandy Hook going back, was it 9, 10 years ago? Was it 21 children under the age of 6 killed, and teachers killed as well? They knew no sin. That was not God's anger at them. Or the students that died at Oxford just the other day, or all across America. Many of the children that were shot down on the south side of Chicago, infants or toddlers in their mother's cars. But I want to ask the question, were the tornadoes that happened this past Friday night in the Midwest, was that a part of the tribulation prophecy? Notwithstanding, I'm not condemning the people. I am not condemning the people. I saw the picture of a big white bus that said First Baptist Church. I think it was over Mayfield, Kentucky. One major church there in Kentucky, in Mayfield, was just torn, nothing left of it. I don't mean to indicate that God hates the people of Mayfield. That's not, God forbid that I should lay such a blame or make such an accusation. But I do want to raise the question as to whether or not the tornadoes are part of the tribulation prophecy. More and more, we are beginning to see horrific things take place that are outside of the control of man. Allegedly, this tornado was the worst that ever touched down on planet Earth and lasted longer than any ever touched down on planet Earth. I'm not impugning the lives of the people. God forbid me doing that. I'm praying for them and for those that lost family members and friends, and you're never going to be able to get your children back. You're never going to get your wife or your husband back. Maybe you're never going to get your teacher or your business back. I'm not against you. God knows I'm praying for you. And I want you to know, if there's any way I can help you, please don't hesitate to call ATLAH Church, and we'll do whatever we can to help you. But having said that, I want to raise the question, because we're looking at a lot of horrific events. We're looking at things that we've never seen before here in America. Now, I'll say this, and I know many of you will want to challenge this because you're not willing to accept it as of yet. But at some point, if it's not true now, at some point it will be true. And if it's going to be true at some point, from a logical scale, it is true now. And that is to say that God has closed the door on America. Remember the brother preachers and Sunday school teachers? Remember Matthew's Gospel, chapter 25, where Jesus talks about the 10 virgins. 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. And the 5 that were foolish weren't ready for the bridegroom to come, so they had to go get the oil. By the time they got back and knocked on the door, Jesus, the bridegroom, had closed the door and wouldn't let them in and sent them into weeping and gnashing of teeth. The days for America, and I love America. I'm not un-American. I'm not African. I don't call. You want a fist fight with me? I'll pull out my Glock 9 on you. I'm not African. I'm a Hamite, but don't call me an African. I've been to Africa, but I'm not an African. I'm an American. Let's be straight, clear about what we can be clear about. I'm an American. And as for what America stood for, even the years of slavery, I still love America. I guarantee you this. You let all these people run around here, especially Black Lives Matter, condemning America, condemning the Constitution, condemning the authority. I guarantee you, if there are 50,000 members now, card-carrying members of Black Lives Matter, raise the question of 5 of them. I raised the question, how many of y'all want to go back to Africa? You won't get 5 people to raise their hands. They don't want to go to Africa, yet they call themselves African American. I've never seen such hypocrites in all my life. Black Lives Matter takes the cake on being hypocrites. But having said that, God is through with America. He's closed the door on America. You say, well, not yet. But my friend, listen. Listen to me. The tribulation said they're going to close the door on the planet. Not only America, but Paris, but Frankfurt, Moscow, Beijing. Eventually, the door going to be closed on everybody. On everybody. So effectively, if you don't believe it's closed now, it will be. There will not be all of a sudden, if you rejuvenation or renaissance or revival of America, where she will shine again. Her days are over with. Her democracy is falling apart like an old shoe. Republicans fighting to try to maintain some sense of power because of their ideas, and many of them I think are good ideas, conservative ideas, I think they're good. But their ideas are unappealing to Mexicans, to blacks, to Latinos, to gays, to a bunch of other people. And so conservative whites, Republicans find themselves a shrinking party and will be out of government before you can say hullabaloo if they don't do something to change the dynamics of the political structure, because they are not attracting new members. They are dying as Republicans, conservatives of the, if you will, of the Bob Dole type or the Ronald Reagan type. Those days are gone. You're looking at a new Republican new group of Republicans who are never going to return. My problem with that is that they chose a gangster, a con man, a psychopath in many, many ways to lead the movement. But because God has closed the door on America, they've chosen to go down that road rather than choosing an honorable man who could look at the same set of circumstances and just stand up and say it like it is. But no. And America will not recover. Now, that doesn't mean I hate America. I'm an American. Don't you talk to me. No, I'm an American. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. No, I love America. Let's be straight. But her days are over with. And she ain't going to revive. What you see now happening politically, there are going to be more tornadoes. Hurricane season is going to be worse. And by the way, this is not global warming. Let's skip this something clear. This ain't no global warming. This is tribulation warning. This ain't no global warming. It's happening, these tornadoes and floods and fires and earthquakes and deaths and political upheaval and wars and rumors of wars and one thing out there. This is not, they ain't got nothing to do with global warming. The earth may be getting hot, but it ain't got nothing to do with global warming or the flagellant of cows. This is the tribulation, and we're in it. And America's not going to recover. No, she isn't. And, so I think one of the other things is that what no one is saying, but we have to watch for very, very carefully. And that is this, is that China will possibly occupy the last years of the tribulation. China has lost 60 million people in one 5-year revolution under Mao Zedong. They can lose another 100 million people and still be formidable. If America lost 100 million people, it would be impossible to recover. Now, there are a lot of people that are running around here. You got the white conservative Republicans who realize now that they cannot attract other people to their party. Their ideas are outdated. Their conservatism is just something nobody wants to be a part of it. So they are formulating a new way to hold on to power. It's ridiculous, and they're using a ridiculous leader, a gangster con man, to be their leader. I would probably join the conservatives and Republicans if they'd get rid of Donald Trump and get somebody of honor to do the very same thing. But then you got this other group running around here denying COVID-19 or denying the pandemic. You got these people out here, you got one crazy group of people denying the election, then you got another crazy group of people, white people, and they're all white too. I think black people ought to just step back and say, look at the hell what these white people are doing. One group on one side are running around here talking about the election's a lie. Then you got another group running around here talking about Dr. Fauci is Joseph Mengele and the COVID-19 ain't real. And I swear, look at these white people. Look at them. Now, I don't say that pejoratively or somehow or another. I got anger against them. I already told you I would join with the conservative because I ain't going to never be no liberal. I ain't going to join with the Democrats. You done lost your mind. I actually ain't going to join nobody's party, quite frankly. I ain't joining nobody's party. But if there's a possibility, a slight possibility of that my joining anybody, it would be the white conservative, not the black liberals and Democrats. So let's be clear about that. But look at these crazy white people. I swear they're running around talking about the pandemic is a hoax. It is and don't wear a mask. And I've never seen anybody's big fools as they are. But no, let me take that back. I spoke too quickly. I think that the ones who follow Obama, we ain't never done nothing for them. I think they're big. But anyway, it's ridiculous. And so China has the opportunity now, while this rumors of wars, while America is fighting herself, killing and eating her own, that China has an opportunity now to step in and lead the world. And were things normal, let's say the tribulation that have been prophesied, and I don't know, the world would just go on ad infinitum until we reach the edge of the universe. I don't know, were the tribulation not as a conclusive, if you will, event prophesied by Jesus. And then, of course, the book of Revelation giving us another biblical perspective about the new heaven and the new earth and putting away of all this old earth and old heaven and bringing a new one. But let's say, for instance, none of that was the case and we were just to go on the way we were going on now. China would take the power and would never lose it again. China would mainly, the only other rival to China would be India. And the other thing I think is the other thing which we all need to be aware of is that probably one of the biggest con men other than Trump is Vladimir Putin. Russia ain't nothing but a gas station with an army. They ain't got no money. Listen, the economy of Russia, though Russia's the biggest landmass on planet Earth, its economy is less than the economy of the whole nation of Italy. They ain't got no money over there. And the ones they do got, the oligarchs over there robbing, stealing it, and putting it all in their pockets. So, that's where we are. But the tribulation going to put an end to everybody. Let me go back to where I started. So the tornado that happened, was that a part of the tribulation prophecy? Is that the beginning? Let me tell you what I think, all right? I don't have this as a word from the Lord, but I'll tell you what I think as a pastor. I think it was. And I'm going to ask Almighty God to put everybody who died in that tornado under the altar, under his love. But here's what I'm going to say to you. I think it's a warning to everybody else to get right with God. I think it's a warning to the white conservatives, to the black liberals and Democrats. I think it's a warning to the Sabbath breakers, to the pork chop eaters. I think it's a warning to the LGBTQ, to Black Lives Matter. I think it's a warning. Get right and get right with God. And do it now. That tornado appeared in the dead of night. And when the morning came, the destruction is unparalleled in American or any other history. I think it's a warning. And I will say to you, America's not going to recover again, but you have an opportunity to get right with Jesus. I understand what the Democrats are doing. I understand what Black Lives Matter are doing. I understand they have been trained to think a particular way. They've been hoodwinked, brainwashed, if you must. But the word of God says it's all going to come to an end. And when the bridegroom comes, will you be ready to meet him? Will you have all in your lamp? Will you be ready to meet him when he comes? Because he's coming. Whether you're black or white, red or blue, he's coming. He's coming, my friend. So we're going to see other horrific events, more shootings, more killings, more deaths from diseases. Like we've never seen, even in the term of the Black Plague, the deaths that are now coming, the wars that are going to happen. Is unprecedented in human history. Jesus puts it this way: we've never seen anything like what's coming. So the tornado was a warning to everybody. Get right with God and do it now. Me, I'm James David Manning, everybody. I'm the Lord's servant. And don't you ever forget it. Just think what my life would be like if I decided to embrace Black Lives Matter, or embrace Obama, or embrace blackness and defend people like Andrew Brown or Michael Brown or Trayvon Martin. Or if I embraced LGBTQ and said, man, and myself perform marriages. Imagine the wealth that I would have. Imagine how often you see me on the news and and all the people of the community would be worshiping and saying what a great preacher and great pastor I am. You do know that would happen, right? I want you to consider that I will not and never under any circumstance, nor the threat of death, ever go anywhere near thinking about doing anything as satanic as that. But what I do want to ask you to do is to consider my righteousness. I'm the Lord's servant, and you might want to help me. You might want to say, well, listen, especially if you're a retirement age and your life is settled and your income's, you're pretty much settled for the rest of your days, but you have excess, so you have what you can give, or you can make this ministry. You can further this word to reach the 50,000 righteous men through your giving. Maybe you have stocks, or you have bonds, or you have properties, houses, or land, or jewelry that you could just give to the ministry, cars, automobiles, paintings. I'm just going to give them to that ministry. If Jesus is coming back to Harlem, to 123rd Street, then I want to give my possessions to prepare a place for him. Jesus said he's going to prepare a place for us, but I'm going to give my possessions, my paintings, my gold, my jewelry, my stocks, my land, my property, my houses to prepare a place for him when he comes back, that the land would truly be holy ground for James David Manning as his servant. Thank you for doing that. You'll know how to give. The Lord will show you how, but start doing it immediately. Time is of the essence.
A true man of God. Pastor is a man of God who gives his life to the Lord. He fears no man, and he chooses his battles. He is a very generous man, a loving man, and he truly loves the children in the ATLAH schools. He cares about their well-being, and he cares about the members of the church. Pastor is my father, and I am his son. He only hopes for the best for me. He cares about my well-being, and he is interested in how I am doing. He prays for me. I am a really, truly blessed person. He is a man of integrity and honor. Pastor is a man who I trust, and there are not many people who I trust. He helps me when I'm in need. He does not like to see me in hardships or in pain. Pastor is not a man who moans or gets huffy. He is a strong man, a man of power. He's a man who you will never understand because of what he has been through. What he has done for the people is far beyond what anyone can imagine. That is why I love him, and I know he is a true man of God. I put my life in his hands. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Pastor. Your son Canaan from the UK.